Let me tell you what I need on those license plates. I ain't even ready for this, but I'm gonna go on and hit him with it. You go and turn it up. Hey, what's poppin'? It's ShayShay LaGhost. I'm coming to y'all live, letting y'all know that I got a YouTube channel that I'm starting, and I want everyone who fucks with me to subscribe. I'm gonna be giving you some real life advice, some financial literacy advice, just some life advice in general, relationships, no telling what I'm gonna talk about. You know, very entertaining, as everybody knows. So make sure y'all check me out, check your girl out, ShayShay LaGhost, Tashay, as y'all know me, but ShayShay LaGhost gonna be my YouTube channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to my Instagram. Make sure y'all subscribe to my TikTok. I'm gonna post everything in a link. Make sure y'all hit the link, get them views up, get them followers up. Anybody that mess with me, if you really mess with me, show me you mess with me.
Okay, Trey, I got this.
How's everybody doing? Y'all already know what it is. It's the Proof in the Pudding podcast show. Yo, I go by the name of Sion919. I'm excited about today's show because we got a businesswoman, a boss up in the building, multiple business owners. She got a trucking company, luxury car and truck rental company. She's an author. She got a podcast. Yo, she's dope. Yo, I'm excited about her being on the show today. So without any further ado, she goes by the name of ShayShay LaGhost. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. We just seen the video right there. Let us know what's going on with the video. We see the promo. You got the YouTube channel. Yo, how was that?
Definitely. That video was awesome to shoot. A gentleman by the name of Chauncey and James actually shot the video for me. We just literally went Scottsdale, Arizona, took the luxury car out, and we just literally drove around and got some good footage, got some good people. It's always live in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you ever come to Arizona, I can definitely show you around.
Okay, so yo, in Arizona, you making moves out there, but originally, if I'm not mistaken, you from the Chi, right?
Absolutely, Chi-town, always.
Okay. So yo, let's take it back to the beginning. What was that like growing up in Chicago?
Woo! It's Chirac is exactly the name that they give it. It's earned its title. Right. However, it was a little bit more safer, I want to say, than my teenage years, and from what I hear back home now. Right. It was beautiful. I mean, I grew up, I started off with my parents. I moved a little bit with my grandparents. My grandfather was a reverend. When he passed, came back home with my parents full time, and moved to the west side of Chicago. Okay. And stayed to the west side of Chicago until I had my son, I believe. So I was probably like 19, 20. And then we moved to the south side of Chicago. But the west side, by far, you know, most would like to debate with me. But where I grew up from, they call it the L-dub, the M-dub, things like that. Right. You know, it was treacherous. It was a lot of murders, a lot of stealing. You know, it's very few people that made it out. So I get encouraged every time I look at Facebook and I see somebody bought a property or somebody that I knew not in prison, they're not dead. I get happy seeing that kind of stuff. Right. They just made it out like me.
Right. And that's the thing right there. It's like, there was a lot of pitfalls, a lot of traps. It's like, yo, how did you survive and maneuver to be the boss that you are today? Growing up in.
Well, I had my fair share of slips and falls, so it wasn't an overnight thing. Although, people see Facebook, and Facebook allows you, social media in general allows you to connect with
Right.
people. So they may see things and think this is like your overnight success. Well, I would literally went from prison to prosperity. I literally went from a lot of downfalls to get exactly where I am today.
Right.
So I I don't know personally any overnight successes, but
No.
yeah, for me it was
Right.
it was a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. One of my favorite inspirational people, Eric Thomas, ET.
Me too.
He
Yeah.
say, yeah, if you heard of him, he say, you gotta want it. You gotta want it as bad as you breathe. You gotta want to succeed as bad as you breathe. You gotta want to
Right.
be a 1% type of person. So you gotta separate yourself from everybody doing average things, everybody who's thinking average,
Right.
everybody who have average connections. So to be that 1% type of person, you gotta change your thinking, your circle, your moves that you make. You gotta get real uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're real uncomfortable. So let's talk
Real
about that transit. How was that transition for you, making the transition?
Well, right now, I've recently just started the trucking thing, and I didn't start that until I believe August of this year.
Okay.
So it's a lot of uncomfortability, a lot of things you need to know. You got to have your paperwork in order, even with getting your own authority.
Right.
A lot of people like to say that's a man's job, and I'm not gonna say I 100% agree, but they out here doing it definitely better. It's a learning in progress, so it's not for the weak in mind, that's for sure.
Right. And that's
Definitely.
KO Trucking, right? That's the KO Trucking
KO
company?
Trucking
Knockout
LLC. Yep.
Trucking. Okay. So let's talk about that. How many drivers do you have and how many trucks do you got right now?
So far, two drivers. I have two more that actually just sent me over their information this past weekend. So get them in the system and hopefully get them up and running
Right.
by the end of this week. So I'm trying to explore this whole team driving thing, because if you can have, let's face it, every truck driver mostly wants to be at home.
Right.
Then you got some that just only want to do local routes. So you got to kind of throw incentives that, since it's a shortage of truck drivers out there, kind of throw some incentives out there. You need to either pay extra per mile or offer like drivers to team up, because
Right.
the sleeper has a bed, you have a microwave, you got a TV, you got a refrigerator, you got everything that
You're going
that
to
you
need.
need. So if they could stay on the road, if you can get two people to team up and stay on the road, say 2.5, 3 weeks, you winning.
You're going to.
It's like having two trucks instead of having one. So as far as profit goes, you got like a dedicated team. So that's where my focus is now, to try to build more team drivers opposed to just single drivers.
Okay. So what's some things you learned in the trucking industry? Because it's a big business right there. It's a big money out there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You also got a book as well.
Yes. So everything's getting edited just due to just protecting my son and, the image of his father and things like that. I wanted to kind of revamp and revise things, because at the time that I started writing the book, I was in prison, and it was How to Survive a Narcissist.
Right.
That's the title of the book. However, like I said, just to protect, I'm not for male bashing or anything like that, but I am for telling my truth
Right.
and what I went through. So I just want to tell it in the most appropriate, most great etiquette way I can, without painting an image of his
Right.
father, that maybe could come back and bite me later on down the line. So just
Not
getting my
definitely.
true story out there.
No, I understand that. So it's like you go through that, it inspires the book. What was that process like? Like you said, you was writing it inside. So like, what was
Yeah.
that process like for you?
So when I first came home, I went and I got a life coaching certificate, because
Right.
I just wanted to just help people. I was incarcerated, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but I'm sure, that were previously incarcerated, or men that were previously in that situation.
Right.
You are with all types of people. Like I literally was, we call them cellies. I literally was in a cell with a woman who chopped her baby up, put her
Wow.
baby in the microwave, cooked her baby, and she fed it to her husband, because she said she was having postpartum depression. She said that her husband was paying more attention to the baby than her. So it was some people
right.
you would never think I would be around and encounter. And
Right.
yeah, that's a whole separate podcast. But my journey started as just like, how did I get here? How did I end up here with these four walls?
Right.
What went wrong? And started talking about the things that happened in, my relationship. We later got married down in life,
Right.
and then had a child of our own. But how did I end up here? So that's, it prompted more and more out of me and more memories and more traumatic things that happened. And I came to the conclusion that the person I was dealing with was a complete narcissist. And, amongst other things, but I wanted to tell my truth, and I wanted to come home and help people. That's why I got the life coaching degree. I didn't really, certificate. I didn't really do much with it, but I always got a listening ear. Like I say, I got friends that be in my inbox, before you think about ending things, give me a call. I'm like never too busy to talk you out of it. I can give you a million reasons why you should still be here.
Yeah, that's real right there. That's definitely real right there. Mental health is real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
that's definitely real right there. So it's like you
Postpartum
say,
depression is real. I thought, I was like, wow, the lady was she was a Chinese descent, but she appeared to be regular and sane on the outside. I just couldn't believe the fathom that somebody would do that to their child. But like I said, postpartum is real. I'm not an expert on that, but it's clearly real. Mental health illness is real.
Yeah, it's definitely real. So it's like, so now you come out, right? You're motivated, new way of thinking, right? So it's like, what's going through your mind when you first get out, making that transition from being locked up to now freedom again?
Well, I went in with the promise of the man that I was married to, that, you weren't going to get any time. He'd hold things down, and he did everything but that. He took off running and started a new family. So the first thing I wanted to do, because my mom had my children, I just wanted to get her a house. I just wanted to do things for her.
Right.
And and she not that, I don't have that kind of mom. She don't ask me for money. She don't ask things of me. But my heart just wanted to thank her and just show her my appreciation for, taking my kids in, because, you figure once you done raise your kids, you done. You don't have to take grandkids in, but life had its own, God had his own plan. So first thing I did was I started on my invention that I had thought about while I was incarcerated. I went and got a patent on my invention. Once I got a patent, I started reaching out to Walmart, John Deere, Black & Decker, all these companies to see if anybody was interested. Anybody wanted to buy the idea for me. So I ended up with Black & Decker, who was interested and wanted to take rights and take the prototype and take everything for, a nominal fee.
Right.
And once I got paid from them, I immediately went and got my mom a house, and she didn't end up moving in it, but it turned into a rental property. So from there, that has been a blessing too, because I've learned the rental game. I've learned to be a property owner, and all that consists of that, just off the good intentions I had of getting a house for my mom. So that has put me also, I'm an owner of properties, and that game just, so everything that has happened, it has, like I said, it's been from prison to prosperity. Everything has been a level up, not without its own, consequences and trials and tribulations. But from the day that I stepped out of there, it's been about leveling up, about helping people, helping others.
Yeah, that's a blessing right there in itself right there. So let me ask you, right? It's like you said, coming out, right? You learned a lot of business. Did you learn that inside, or did you learn on the way? Like, how did you learn business? Like, a lot of people, they may have ideas, they don't know how to execute it. You say you got out, you had an invention, patent that, made that money, brought your mom a house. So it's like, did you already have that business sense already?
No, I was, the last thing I was planning on being was a property owner. That was the last thing. It was a headache. I was just like, look, I just want to get my mom a house. But my mom, I have a brother too, Robbie. So my mom was like, look, this house is too far from you and your brother. You got me like 45 minutes away from you guys. So she just felt it was just too far for her to be away from her children.
Right.
And that's understandable. So I had to reach out to like a realtor, or, either lose the property. Like I had my own place, so I couldn't move into it.
Right.
So I started contacting different family members to see if they wanted to move into it. It wasn't a convenient situation for them. So I got with the realtor and have stuck with them kind of ever since, and have made my moves. The last property, I literally October 23rd, I just moved into this house.
Right.
September 1st, I closed on a 3-flat in Chicago. So I'm trying to definitely increase my property knowledge. I just found something else out about that maybe some of the viewers would want to know. So if you are interested in, having a group home, sober living, anything where you can help people, a house, just a shelter, or a house for women and children or veterans, if you go and get your 5013C, you can get a grant. They will give you funds to purchase property.
Wow.
You could just start purchasing a bunch of property and put in those type of people that you want to help into your properties, and get it, and you also getting money for it. It's a, non-for-profit.
Wow. That's dope right there. You
That's
just
free
dropped the
game.
jewel. You just dropped the jewel on them right there. That's real right there. So it's like, for those that's interested in that, it's like, so now you're in a rental property game. You're doing that. So it's like, let's talk about, how did you get into the luxury car and trucks? How did you get into that?
Well, I mean, I'm like everybody else. I always wanted a Rolls Royce, a Lamborghini. Unfortunately, where I come from, you would see everybody is big on, in Chicago, they big on Rams. They big on the Mercedes. Nobody, I really too much didn't see people in Chicago, like not in my circle. Maybe downtown and, the corporate world, but you didn't see people driving Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis and, Rolls Royce trucks. You don't see that where I grew up from. It's just people don't have it like that. You'll see maybe the Cutlass on 32s or some,
stuff like that.
some hood kind of stuff. Yeah. So I got my credit up. I used to work for TransUnion when I lived in Chicago. So I knew a few ins and outs and a few secrets. So I got my credit score up to an 833 now. And anybody, if you don't know, your credit is golden. It's just as good as your money. So once you got your credit up, you start to get your business credit up. Start buying things in your business name. That way, when you get ready to sell your business, you can get rid of those luxury cars. Your business will be at a higher value, because you think about a Rolls Royce truck, that's a $500,000 truck. If your company is valued in all its assets at 1.5 million, well, their car just gave you an extra 500,000, and you sell that with your business, and you've already been made a profit off Turo. You've already made a profit renting it luxury, and they're paying it off for you by taking it over when they buy your business. So that's why I've learned to get into that game.
Right.
Sell your assets. Sell your assets with your business.
Sell the assets. Okay, so you're making a move. You bossing up on them out here. You also got a show. You got a show that you're working on.
Yeah, so I'm working on my own podcast. I literally just started about 36 days ago with this whole social media. A friend pitched it to me and was like, man, you got a hell of a personality. Like, you need to be on somebody's TV. Like I said, my best friend she's a producer in Ohio. So everybody is just saying I got this out of the world personality, and I got all these stories, good stories to tell, and good information to give. So I was like, okay. It was like, start putting your cars on Turo, just jump out there in front of the camera. And I did it. I know, like with YouTube, you got to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. I was like, you know what? I probably can do this. I jumped. It's been 36 days. I overhit my target. So on my way to get my monetization. So I'm proud of that. It's, baby steps, but it seems like things are happening pretty quickly.
Thanks. So how do you balance it all? Being a mom, being a business owner, and then also having a show. How do you balance everything?
Well, right now I have a son who has severe asthma. Then I have an adult son, so I'm about to be a grandmother shortly.
Right.
For the first time, I turned 40. I told you tomorrow.
Wow,
even though I look 20.
Right. Happy birthday!
Thank you. I balance it all. Like I said, I do everything on my timing. Unfortunately, I'm finding challenges within the trucking world, because I kind of have other people that I've delegated responsibility to. So now that's my focus on learning more about that, so I could take things over, eventually myself, or just make sure things are ran, fairly, and It's consistent income coming in, but as of right now, I've just been balancing things, just doing it on my own timing. If someone wants to rent, one of my vehicles, if they have a sketchy, background, or I look at their profile, I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, just like with Airbnb, us Airbnb, when you rent out a property, you go and look and see if they got any bad reviews or anything like that. So
Right.
that's kind of same thing. This is your car. This is your hundreds of thousands of dollars investment that you put. So you want to make sure you got the right people in there. But particularly for a Rolls Royce, it's mostly people just want to do music videos or kind of stunt for the weekend, and I'm fine with that as long as they treat it as if it was theirs.
Right, and take care of it. That's the thing right there. So I seen a video of using the Hellcat. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Lord Jesus, listen, that's my brother's truck, by the way.
Wow.
And I wasn't a fast car connoisseur, but that thing, baby, let me tell you, that Hellcat is no joke. So all of what they say is true. That you can get away from the police. Hell, you can get away from the devil in that damn thing. That car, that thing was fast. And my brother know that I don't do roller coasters. Like, I'm too old for, my heart to be beating fast. And he gave a show that probably, I was supposed to be sticking to the script. So you heard me cursing. You heard me turn into ShayShay. You heard me go from Tashay to ShayShay.
Quick. It was
real quick. But I mean, like I said, for a guy like you, if you're interested in fast cars and driving like a bat out of hell, that's your car. That is the
and that's the thing. So I was doing the donuts and everything. Yeah, I was whipping.
Oh my God, I never did a donut in my life. So I don't know why my brother, I don't know, was he trying to punk my ass or what he was trying to do to me. But yeah, I was almost gonna see my maker if I stayed in the car with him because I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm not trying to be funny. That car is too. Whoever thought of the schematics of that, you can't be driving on a regular street like that.
Wow.
So I'm not nothing against Hellcats. Like I say, if you are for fast, that is your car.
Yeah. So I think I was about to hit 200 or something in there.
Yeah. Like, who does that? I mean, you personally, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to turn into the interviewer, but you probably would want to be doing 200 on the street, just because.
Yeah. Just you wasn't for.
Put me in the luxury pretty cars. I'm that type of girl.
Okay, yeah, I feel you on that. So let's talk about something.
I'm eyeing that new Maybach. That car is sick. I like that.
You like that one? Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about some of your best moments over the last year. If you have to reflect back, what's some of the moments that stood out the most?
Wow, my son going to the military. Even though he hasn't had the most pleasant experience. Like I said, where I come from, everybody didn't graduate high school. Where I come from, you was either, dead or you was in prison. Those are your only two options. And it was, or you was a pimp or you was a hoe.
Right.
So 4 options.
I get
it. Thank God I made it out and I'm not neither of the 4. Right. But that was the best option for me because he's the first male to get his high school diploma. Wow. Just like, I'm the first one to be the inventor and patent something. Right. So him, just serving the country, that was one of my happiest moments. Me becoming debt free, actually, when I was married, my ex just kind of ran my credit in the ground and then I went to prison and it was like, so coming home, I had a lot of cleanup to do internally, but externally as well with my credit, with my name, with starting a new life. And God throws those things at you from here, from time to time. We all find ourselves starting over from the beginning. And it's not easy. Right. It's not easy. So we deal with what was dealt with us. But that was another one. And finding out that I'm going to be a grandmother, that was, the most exciting thing. And the latest thing, my mom is out looking for her a house now that I'm going to be able to put her finally in the house that she actually wants. So that was a dream of mine that I tried to do. It didn't go so good the first time, but we on a right path that, she'll be closing in her house by the new year. So
that's a blessing as well right there. So let me ask you, growing up as a little girl, did you ever think you would be doing what you're doing today?
Ooh, absolutely not. So I had 2. So I was really close to both of my grandfathers and they both gave me nicknames. Right. And I yet to, feel that I've lived up to him. So one of my grandfathers called me Miss Look So Good because
Wow.
he just thought I was, a beautiful child.
Right.
My other one called me school teacher. He said I used to just ask a lot of questions, and he was like, "You just know everything." I was getting good grades. I asked my mom the other day. My mom has held on to all of my accolades and my awards since I was in school.
Right.
And I said I wanted to do something with it, because it's just sitting in a drawer collecting dust. But I want people to know this about me, that, from kindergarten, first grade, I was getting accolades, best, at school every day, best attendance, best reader, best math person. So I've always, even in, jobs that I've had previously, best
Right.
customer service rep, best accountant. So I want to just do something with my accolades, and don't just let people know that about me, that I do have, it's more to me than beauty, it's more to me than what meets the eye.
And that's the thing right there. So it's like definitely in school you're doing your thing. Salute to them. It's you definitely looking so good, respectfully. King Ben. All right.
Thank you. I
So that's it.
appreciate it.
So that's the thing is like, so you always was like advanced. So you always were excelling in different areas. What was your dream back then? Like, what was your dream job? Like, what did you see yourself doing as a
It's
kid?
crazy. And I actually would have gotten my dream job. I was just having marital problems. So I wanted to be a flight attendant.
Flight
I
attendant.
Yeah, I wanted to be, that was like, that was before I knew what salaries was and anything. I was like, I want to be a flight attendant. I
Right.
just liked the way they correlate. I liked it the way they dressed. I liked, their job didn't seem hard. And most of all, they just was able to travel. And
Right.
anybody that knows me and follow me on social media, you see I'm always going somewhere. So I want to be going somewhere for free. So I said, oh, okay, I could be a flight attendant. I actually got a flight attendant job, but I had my son, and things, just like I said, I was having marital problems, so I couldn't actually complete the training for flight attendant.
Okay, gotcha. So it's like you like to travel. What's some of your best places that you've been so far?
The recent two last places this year, I went to New Orleans for the first time. Amazing food. It was right before the hurricane just hit. Um, just got back from Vegas. Vegas is just a drive away, so I'm always kind of in Vegas. But my top number one is Miami. If if God willing, I can, I would drop everything. If I can find stability, I would be going to Miami. I like everything about it. I like the food. I like the culture. I love to party still. So I like the
Right.
nightlife. I like everything about Miami.
Okay. So all right, what can people expect on the channel, and what can they expect for the rest of the year that you have coming up?
So I'm reaching out to my contacts and things like that. Like I said, before I start putting everybody else on here from Arizona, because I just recently did an interview with Tony Watts, a great up and coming rapper
So,
from Arizona. But I'm a Chicago girl, diehard. So I would like to get with the guys that I grew up with. The Crucial Conflict, Do or Die, Twister, Bo Deal, just people that I grew up listening to.
right.
And then I would, like to transition and give other people, these up and coming artists, the opportunity to come on my podcast and talk about what they're doing, and, eventually move up to the Yo Gottis and the Little Babies. I'm open for it all, but I definitely want to pay homage to where I'm from, to the music that got me through my hard times. Just I could just think and name, Shauna, total a whole lot of artists that I just grew up listening to,
Right.
that whether they know it or not, they did help me get through a lot of times in Chicago.
That's the thing right there. And it's like, yeah, so if you had to look back now, right, some of your darkest moments, right,
Mm.
what would you say to yourself? What would you tell yourself, knowing what you know now? What would you say to yourself in that moment?
Um, Try to be the first or the second smartest in your group. Don't roll with what's cool. Don't do with what everybody else is doing. It's okay to be out of the box. It's okay to be that square. It is really, it really is okay to be that square, because those squares aren't in prison for the rest of their life. Those squares, have mortgages, 401ks. They have things going on for themselves. So it's more important to make your own self happy than to make others happy. So give yourself that self-love before you start expecting the world to just jump aboard and jump ship. Make sure you love yourself first.
That's right there. You definitely have to love yourself. So going through what you went through, what's some red flags now for other women that may, to avoid certain situations? What's some red flags?
A man that talks and his resume has no action. I just did a video on this.
Right.
If they resume does not have action in it, if they don't have a history of doing this before, sister, you are wasting your time. If I could tell you, I could tell you I'm Queen of England, but if I have no history of knowing any of the anarchy family and can even show you or even produce any of those to you, then I'm just blowing smoke up your ass. So
Right.
beware of people that's gonna both blow smoke up your ass. Beware of people that's gonna do a lot of talking and tell you where they can put you at. Because now that I'm getting into this social media, I can't tell you. I got things in my inbox. Oh, I can get you 45,000 followers with $60. It's
Right.
beware of people that could, you should know all too well. They'll tell you, beware of people that's blowing smoke up your ass. Do your stuff authentically. If people mess with you, they gonna mess with you regardless if you have 200 followers or you got 2 million followers. If they like you and you have made a name for yourself and they can see the realness in you, then you're gonna win anyways.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're definitely winning, right? And you're branding yourself like that. So let's talk about that transition with the social media, right? Branding, running a business in the social media world has changed from back in the day. How have you adapted, and how has that affected you?
Well, what's crazy is I've been getting crazy feedback. Like, I had two family members. One of my family members, Kim, and my aunt Deborah, Aunt Lonnie, was in town, and it was so crazy because usually we all hug, and my brother just had his anniversary party, so I got a chance to see a lot of family. But I've been getting from family and friends. They're, man, Tasha, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you've come a long way, and it feels good to see others actually see that transition in me and see that, take me seriously, that I'm a woman of my word. I'm definitely winning. And I'm starting to feel that I'm winning myself. And it has nothing to do with the money or the status. I just feel I'm winning because I wake up every day and I be thinking about how I can help someone else, how I can put someone else on, how it's not necessarily easy to get where I'm at, but just how I can get that free game. It's just people out here really, really struggling and really, really, they don't have to go the social media route, but just advice I can give them just to clean their credit up. They can become a homeowner, something just that small. So that's what I've been most proud about, that transition on, being able to myself notice it and get that feedback from everybody else, letting me know that, hey, I'm proud of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's the thing right there. It's like you came a long way. A lot of people, they don't make it back. A lot of people don't make it through some of the things you've been through. And then even coming out, it's like, some people feel sorry for themselves. Like you said, you went to work. You didn't sit back and just wait for something to happen. When you put in the work, you definitely put in the dedication, you put in the sweat. So now it's manifesting. You're seeing the fruit of that. So it's like, what can people expect for the rest of this year?
So definitely my podcast, like I say, those names were just a few names that I mentioned. But yeah, in my house, when you used to have cassettes and stuff like that, you had, my dad had his own genre of music, the OJs and Teddy Pendergrass, or then my mom had her own genre of music, Aretha Franklin you would hear. And then it's, my age group, when it came time to play radio, we had the Do or Die, you had the Twister, you had the Crucial Conflict, the Mercenaries, the Shauna, you had these local, artists that, this was before bootlegging music and stuff like that. You had to buy their music, you had to listen to them. And it's a lifestyle. If you're from Chicago, you would know the realness, you would know the rawness of the trenches. And that's what we call them back home. And, surviving them. And they was talking about just real things. So up and coming, I would like to just interview some of those people that inspire me musically. And, it doesn't have to be particularly musicians, but people like myself that, have came from a hard place and how they making it, I got a lot of friends I see on Facebook, just buying up tons of properties and, they jumping into the rental car game, or they getting a truck and like, hey, you inspired me to do this. So, just bringing some of those people on my podcast as well. And even some authors and some inspirational speakers, just having a mixture of things, anything that, will help motivate the next person.
And that's the thing right there, motivating somebody else. So it's not even about you. You helping other people, but at the same time, you're progressing. So that's a beautiful thing, giving back to the people and stuff like that. So how has the pandemic affected you, if it has or it hasn't?
Wow. So I was actually working a job prior to the pandemic, and in mid pandemic I was like, look, my health started, failing and or whatnot.
Right,
And I said, listen, I can't do this no more. um I got, like I said, my grown child is, he lives in Alaska, but my other
right,
son, my 8-year-old son, it was just me and him. And my health started failing. I couldn't really do these basketball, football games, and he a sports fanatic. And I say, look, I can't work and do this. I need to figure out something that can bring in some income and that
right,
would allow me to stay home since I'm a single mother at the same time, and attend these events, and don't be a letdown to him.
right,
So a friend of mine, he approached me. He was like, hey, I'm jumping into the trucking, company. I just got my CDL. He was like, Bobby, he was like, you can go ahead and, buy a truck. And then he had me buy a trailer. So from there, his wife Janice has been like doing some of the booking of the loads, and um, it's been interstate.
right.
So just different states they travel to. So that's kind of really how I got into the trucking thing. So in the up and coming weeks, I plan on jumping in, learning a little bit more about dispatching, learning a little bit more about loads, just so I'll have the knowledge myself and not just be a business owner, but actually be knowledgeable about
Right.
what is going on myself. And before I start telling people to, go out and buy trucks and go out and, hey, I want to be able to give game and be able to have facts behind it. That, hey, this is how I succeeded.
Right. That's the thing. It's definitely, you're doing your thing right now. You're definitely making moves. So like when it comes to promoting and branding, you said, keeping it authentic. A lot of people, they're doing the fluff. They got the numbers, they buying the numbers, but it's like you want the authentic, you want the genuine, the generic, regular. Like I know you.
Yeah.
You don't want to buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I
right.
don't. I don't need to pay you $45 to give me 30,000 followers.
Right.
Yeah. So I wish they had like a filter where you could just automatically delete them. But hey, some people, to each its own. I
Right.
want you to want to turn to my channel. I want you to want to come to my YouTube channel, because you don't know what you're gonna expect next. You don't know what I'm gonna say next. You don't know what I'm doing today. You don't know what kind of free game I'm giving out. Like I say, I've had people. I woke up one day when I was in Vegas. I gave out $10,000 that day. God
Wow.
had put it up. God put it on my heart. He said to help someone. So my aunt was like one of the first people, and my inbox just got overloaded with people who needed help,
Right.
financially. And I cut it off at 10,000. I said, Lord, I know you want me to help, but
Right.
hell, I know you don't want me to go broke.
Right. 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 But the more you give, the more you shall receive. So it's all the reaping and sowing.
So
So, right.
yeah, and that's between me, them, and God. They know who they
Right.
is, but and God knows and I knows, but yeah, God often puts it on my help to, help others. I was sitting here scrambling today. I say, hey, I got a semi truck. I got a 53-inch trailer. I should be able to pull up and feed the homeless. I mean, but I know the homeless don't care about turkeys. They don't have anywhere to cook
Right.
them. So I was sitting here thinking, like, what can I do this Thanksgiving? Utilizing what I have to go and help the homeless. So
Right.
that's where I'm at now. I do want to do something where it's massive,
Yeah.
so I can help as many people as possible.
That's the thing. You got a good heart, and that's the thing. Is like people with good hearts, they gonna always win. They always win in life, and it's like blessing others. They always come back. You put out good, good will come to you. So
Absolutely.
things are definitely coming together for you. So it's like, what's a misconception that people may have about you? Because it's
Ooh,
like it's two different sides.
I'm
It's the
stuck
side
up.
say,
That is the number one misconception. They be like, "Oh, I think you prissy, and I think you stuck up, and I'm not approachable." And I am the total opposite. I'm the most approachable. I'm definitely not stuck up. I'm definitely not shallow. You can definitely reach out and talk to me. That's the most number one misconception that people have of me. They be like, "Oh, well, she thinks she better than everybody," when I'm the most humblest person ever. I don't go for the nonsense. If you could tell a person that's full of shit, to be honest with you, but I'm the most approachable person. You can approach me with whatever. I always got a listening ear.
and that's real right there, and that's the real side of you. So it's like you done been through some things, so you can relate to a lot of people. You got a story to share. You're sharing your story with people, but not only through words, through action.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's like one of those people that's like we need in the world because the world needs to heal. So it's like with the state of everything going on, how do you stay focused when you look at the news and you see all the injustices, everything going wrong? How did you get through? You raising you said 2 boys, right?
Yeah, 2 boys. Yep. One, like I said, he's married, living in Alaska.
Right.
I'm gonna be a grandmother soon in April, and then I have an 8-year-old, and my 8-year-old is full of energy. Whereas when I had my first son, I was 19. I had all the energy in the world. uh, I could go to all the basketball games, all the football games. He just wasn't that. He's a video game type of kid, but I have a sports type of kid that requires those games, and he don't want to be in the house as much as I do.
Right.
So just definitely trying to find that balance. And like I said, was going through health issues earlier this year, so that's clearing up. So God is really working in my favor. Even despite the health issues, I managed to go buy a Rolls Royce. I managed to go close on the house. So God ain't done with me yet. Not yet.
You're not done. Yeah, you got work to do, and you're doing it. And that's the thing. It's like you're doing it, and you're helping others. So it's like, what's the best way for people to connect with you? If they want to follow you, or they want to network, collab with you on some things, what's the best way for them to get with you?
Yeah, so you can hit me up on Facebook, Mrs. Tashay. Tashay is my first name. You can hit me up on YouTube, or you can hit me up on Instagram, and it is ShayShay LaGhost 1. Also, that's my TikTok. So.
And that's the TikTok too. So you got the TikToks jumping off. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I just started that. That's quite fun. I said I would. I've been, you got to stay in kind of competition with that TikTok on the funny stuff. So I was trying to find some things to get my son to do with me. He ain't going though.
He ain't going for it.
He ain't going. I was trying to do a little skit from Harlem Nights because I think Della Reese and Eddie Murphy was super funny when she got shot in the pinky toe. Right. My son looked at me. He was like, "That's old. Yeah, he ain't going."
So let me ask you. Okay, that's the thing because I have kids too, right? It's like, you're a public figure, right? You're doing your thing, your style, luxury cars, and all this. Like you got even the way you look. You're a model. You got yourself together. But it's like your son is looking like. Do you get that mom where it's like, that disconnect where it's like you can't be cool because you're the parent? Or your son,
it is a serious disconnect because here I got one kid who my oldest, I hope I pronounced this right to whoever the name brand is. He wears Gucci, he wears Fendi, he wears Aries, I think it's called, the new name brand. Yeah, if it costs over $500, he wear it. Okay. And then I got a kid who won't light up shoes. He does an 8-year-old who does not care if it's a Jordan. He does not care if it's he don't care about the name brand. Do it light up? Do it do anything cool? Like my son asked me for Christmas. He said, "Ma, I want to build me a computer." So I don't even know where to start to even go get the stuff. He was like a PC mod, and it way over my head. But I'm gonna figure it out. I know somebody who can help with him. But yeah, they 2 different kinds of kids, so it is hard finding the balance because the oldest definitely tries to push. Oh, get him some Jordans, and he tries to push that onto his brother. When I'm just like, let him be a kid. Plus, it's cheaper on me.
Right, I feel you.
If he want light up shoes, let him get light up shoes.
Let him get light up shoes, and that's the thing. It's like day and night, but it's like it's all the same. It's all
yeah.
It's like it's part
that's
of
the
life.
First thing that we as people, it ain't even black people, but we as people, like I say, I know some millionaires that wear polo, like literally they wear polo. They wear white plain t-shirts. They wear polos, and then I know some people that's broke that wear Gucci. It don't
add up.
It don't add up. So whoever, that's the worst thing we can have in the black community is keep buying into all of these name brands instead of building our own brands.
Instead of building our own brands, buying property, buying stuff like that, creating businesses, that stuff that's going to last. Guns and butter is what I think he said in Baby Boy. I think that's what Bing Rames said.
Let me tell you, off the subject, back to the houses. Here's one thing, one good advice that I always tell people since I've been into this property thing. As far as credit, help your kids out, especially if they 16, 17 years old. Right. Add them to your credit cards as an authorized. Don't give them a credit card, but add them as an authorized user so that you can help them establish credit before they even get 18 years old. If you go out and buy a house, once you close on a house, add whoever the oldest person is in your family, add them to the insurance. So when that person dies, your property is paid for. So your grandmother could be still living. She could be 96. Your mortgage is 30 years. What's the probability that she gonna really live 30 more years? Not saying we wishing death on people, but but this is what, white people do this all the time. They get the oldest person. So you think about a 30-year mortgage. If your grandma's 96 years old, she probably will be dead by 100, 101, and you got your whole property paid for.
Wow. That makes sense.
Yeah. So just things like that. Us in the community, we need to, knowledge ourselves about when we buying these properties. And people don't know that you can go and get a non-for-profit and get money and get grants to buy, to buy these properties.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And that's the thing. It's like, that's another jewel right there. And it's like a lot of people don't know. It's like, it ain't that we don't want to do it. A lot of people don't know. So it's like, you're dropping jewels up here. How did you get knowledgeable? Was it like somebody mentored you? Or did you learn from a book? How did you learn?
I started asking a lot of questions. And luckily I had a Black realtor who I felt, you got realtors and some get 3%, some get 5%, when they sell you a house. But she knew I didn't know nothing. Right. And she said, hey, listen, this is what you have the option to do. She said, I tried to help my people as much as possible. And I felt she really was trying to help me by dropping the game on me. So I didn't have to read it from a book. It was advice that she gave to me. And she was like, you can do this. And I'm like, hey, I do got an older grandma still living. I do got a son. I can help his credit. I had got my son credit score almost up to an 800 before he was 18.
Wow. Yeah, that's real right there. And that's the thing. So it's like now you're giving people the knowledge and stuff like that. So like, do you do credit repair for people? Can they contact you for that too as well?
Yep, you can contact me for credit repair inquiries, for if you're trying to obtain some property, be a first-time homeowner. If you want to jump into the luxury car, thing, so we can, make sure your credit is straight. You can start buying them, come up with, get an EIN, come up with the business name and start buying, these luxury things into your business name instead of your, both credits are equal. You need personal and you need business too if you're going to be doing any type of business. Right. Because eventually, like I say, trucking companies, car companies, you always got a company that you can have a backup. You can always sell. So if you go and do the 501(c) and you say, okay, I'm Tashay's Open Shelter, I can always sell that business and any assets that I obtain under the business, whether I bought a car, the property, or even a trucking company. I can always sell the trucking company as a whole and any trucks or anything I bought in the business that would come with it. You have a lot of people that are out here looking to, I buy companies that are already established. So that's less work for them.
Right. So it's like kind of like you start it up and then you sell it off to them.
But if you've made a name for yourself, like I said, KO Trucking, LLC, and if you've made a name for yourself and your name is well known out there in the trucking world, dispatchers know you, brokers know you, then, someone who wanted to up and start, you could present them with, hey, you could buy my whole company for this amount of dollars.
Right.
And you already have built relationships. It'll just be, it's just smart business.
Yeah, and that's real right there. So let's talk about the name, because it's KO Knockout Trucking.
So my son actually came up with the name. Now the trucking company was my son's idea. He was like, I guess, speaking with his father-in-law, and he had came up with KO Trucking. His name is Kobe. So I'm not sure how he came up with the KO, but maybe knockout, like you said. And he said, Mom, this is what I want the company to be. So I got to work, got the EIN number, got the proper paperwork and articles of incorporation, and that's how KO Trucking got started. It was my son's idea.
Wow. You've been rolling. How long you been rolling in the trucking?
Since August.
Since August. Okay. So everything is on the up and up. Everything going smooth. The luxury business is going smooth. So it's like, is anything else people may need to know that you have coming up this year? I know you got an interview or two coming up, right?
Yeah. So right now, I have a a friend of mine who has presented me with like a water invention. So right now he said they're testing it in Flint, Michigan, where the water is bad. So it's
Right.
basically like a filter that would no longer need it would no longer be a need for a water softener, no longer be a need for chlorines in pools. So I'm just waiting on those test results from the FDA that if it cleared algae, if it cleared everything up, it's a good to go, and it's a super invention.
Wow.
Can go in every house, can go in every pool, can go in hotel pools, hotel watering.
Right.
So you got people out there that are health gurus. They wouldn't even drink Walmart water. They gotta have Fiji water.
Yeah, Fiji water. That's
so,
real right there.
so this would be definitely a game changer, and it's already patent. So I'm just waiting before I start doing any kind of promotions and things like that. Just waiting on the results to see if it did actually do what it was expected to do. And it's gonna be a game changer.
Wow, and that's the thing right there. You have a creative mind. You're always coming up with ideas.
Yep.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
Being stagnant when and my mom, I gotta credit her because she listens to all my crazy ideas. I could wake up and I could aspire to be Superwoman, and she'll listen to me go through my whole spiel in my whole speech. Like when I told her I was gonna be an inventor, she kind of was like, okay, this is something else, another thing that you want to do. She didn't really take it, seriously, but she always listens. It's just I be having so much that I want to do. She like, you only one person. You can't do it all. But in my mind, I can do anything that I want to do.
Right. And that's the thing. So it's like, okay, pre-marriage to after marriage, right? After marriage, you're doing a lot, you're moving around. It's like, what things did you learn? Or is it like, sometimes it's like you may not had the freedom to do certain things before. Now I got a second chance. I'm more motivated. Is it like, what's the backstory to that?
So that has been a shit show, but to be honest with you, so the marriage didn't work. Right. And I was dealing with a street guy. So when I came home, I owed it to myself, my kids, my mom. I owed it to, myself. I'm a good woman. I owed it to myself to get a stable guy, a guy that works a 9 to 5, just a good guy that would do right by me and treat me right. So I got engaged this time last year on my birthday. But that didn't work out either. So my advice on that whole dating realm is that if you want to date me, please be stable financially. Right. I am not a come up. I'm not a step up. I'm not one who is looking to take care of a man. I'm not one, looking to help a man out. I want a man that's already stable in his own, doing his own thing, that can bring something to the table and, be a God-fearing man and a trustworthy man. I'm 40 years old. It's the games it's time for the games to be out. It's time for, if you want to be a player, then I'm probably not the girl for you. So that's what I've learned, to just up my standards and do no nonsense. Like if it's those red flags that, guys start to show, I'm not even going to necessarily say not answering the phone, but if you doing things that you wouldn't want me to do, those are red flags. If people start getting in my DMs asking about, am I with you? That's a red flag. So yeah, I'm no drama. I don't want a guy to bring drama in my life. I want someone that's going to be able to be an addition to my life and just make my everydays happy. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days, but no third parties. I'm not trying to be in a love triangle.
And I feel you on that. And I definitely respect that. So it's like, for the people that's watching, right? They may be aspiring to start a business. They may want to get, they may want to step their life up. They want to level up, get their first house, properties and stuff like that. What would you say to them?
Do it. Fix your credit first. That's number one key. You can't drive the car without the key. Make sure you have a decent credit score. Make sure you get those inquiries off your credit. You have Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and LexisNexis. You have all of those, and they're open Monday through Friday. I think 9 to 5 probably. Maybe I'm wrong on the hours. You can call them anytime and put in a dispute. Go to the Federal Trade Commission, do a complaint. By law, if you do a Federal Trade Commission complaint, that's just as golden as a police report. You can get those student loans. You can get those inquiries. You can get all of those things off your credit. It is not nothing you cannot get off your credit. So cleaning up your credit, you could start to pursue being a homeowner, being a business owner. You know, people take you serious. Your credit is everything. And if you haven't showed responsibility with your credit, you know, don't expect a huge come up.
No, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be slim to none to happen. It's like you got to do that. That's one of the steps.
Yeah, you got to have that discipline. It's just like in a relationship. You know, don't expect no perfect marriage if you ain't disciplined enough not to be stepping out in your relationship. Discipline is key to life. You got doers and you got talkers. You got 1% people and you got people that is just going with the flow with life. We are not promised tomorrow to be taking a mentality to go with the flow. Right. You have to have and they say, yeah, don't tell God your plan, but you have to have a goal that's different than a plan. You have to have some goals.
You have some goals. And that's the thing. You're dropping a lot of wisdom up here. That's life. That's life experiences, right? You know what I'm saying? You enjoying it, but you've been through a lot of pain.
Absolutely. I have been through a lot of pain, but my pain has fueled my purpose.
Pain has fueled your purpose. And that's the thing right there. Purpose.
And I got to help. Like I said, when I was sitting behind those, looking at them four walls, you know, I was even then thinking about how at the time it was like, man, I got to do anything but come back here. How can I help my mom out? I just felt the lowest of the lowest as a mom to not spend that beat with my children, because I'm not the type. I think I'm a great mom. I'm not the type that'll just leave my kids and abandon my kids. But God wanted to sit me down to get over that marriage, to get over that relationship, and focus on Him. They say God is a jealous God, so God set me down. I got it together, and you know, gave me the blueprint, and He's been ordering my steps, and it's up from here.
And that's a blessing right there. So it's like, yo, you following His steps, like bringing you through it, trusting His plan. All right, let's say for the next 5 years, I know you got a vision for it. Like, where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years?
I want to be able to, the type of boss that I want to be able, I want anyone under me to be able to do everything that I do. Wow. So I want them to have their own companies. I want them to have their own properties, them to have their own houses. So the next 5 years, I see myself being the reason why others have their own business, why they are now homeowners, why they now have high credit scores, why they making smart business moves. That's my goal. I want to, you know, not only my family and friends, but anybody who want the help, anybody who want this free game, I want them to tune in.
That's the thing right there. So
you can't get better than free.
You can't get better than free. You can't get better than free. I got like 3 more questions, and I'm gonna let you go. I don't want to keep you too long, right?
Okay.
But yo, if I had to ask you, right, go into your mind, how would you describe happiness, and what's happiness to you?
Freedom. Number one, freedom financially, freedom mentally, freedom out of an abusive relationship, out of a narcissistic relationship. So my happiness is just the ultimate is my freedom. You know, mine is different than everybody else's, but again, I've been through some things. So freedom is my happiness, my happy place.
You're definitely doing that.
I don't owe anybody anything.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact right there. And it's like, you deserve that. Been through what you've been through. You definitely deserve that. And it's like, yo, you're doing the right moves. So it's coming together. Okay. So if you had to put in your own words, right, when people think of ShayShay LaGhost, what type of things do you want to come to their mind?
She can help you. She can point you in the right direction to make the moves that she's making. I say that all the time. Tune in if you want to learn what I'm doing. I want them to, you know, see everything that I'm doing as a blueprint, you know, to aspire to do better. I'm not on the highest level of what I'm doing. You know, I'm still learning every single day, but I want them to, when they hear my name, be like, oh, she can help with credit. She can help you get this car. She can help you get this house. She can point me in a direction on how I start my business. You go and get a EIN number first, but she can help you. Right. That's what I want. I want them to know just I could help them.
That's the thing. So if you could give a message, right, to the world, young America, Black community, A lot of people out here hopeless, making wrong decisions. A lot of negative messages getting pushed around, agendas. What advice would you give to the young brothers, and what would you say to your sisters?
I would say listen to your parents. Listen to someone who is doing the things that you already want to do. You know, if you got a favorite, obviously, Lil Baby may be somebody's favorite rapper. You probably don't have that kind of access to get to know one like him. But if you want to get into music, start hanging around people that be in the studio. Start hanging around people that, ghostwriting is even, lucrative. If you can't make it yourself, start writing up, keep tab of your raps and stuff. You could sell those. That's profit. That's money too. Ghostwriting is money. People don't know that, but it is. So whatever it is that you're doing, get with someone who's already doing it to put you that you trust, and they can point you in the right direction on where you want to go. Or you got all these famous celebrity YouTube stars. You got CJ on 32's, Corey. If you start looking at their videos and getting what is it, Bandman Quivo, start looking at their videos and seeing how they doing what they're doing.
Right.
So pay attention to the people that look like where you want to be, and stop wasting your time on being with people who are not going to get you nowhere. It's okay to be out of the crowd. It's okay to be a square.
That's the thing. So that would be for the men and the women. That's for the boys and the women.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's real right there. So at this point, I'm going to give you your flowers. Because like you said, you're helping other people. From looking on the outside, looking in, I see a black woman making moves. That's always a good thing. As a black man, to see a black woman making moves and making things happen. But it's like, I never knew anything about your story before we got on here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, as far as you being in prison and stuff like that, that just makes my eyes open up even more to be like, wow, if it can happen for her. Because people from the outside looking in, you said it earlier, it's like people may look at the Instagram and social media and be like, it just happened overnight.
Yeah, it didn't happen overnight. No.
Right. So it's like,
blood, sweat, and tears in this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So it's like some people, it may look dark right now, but it's hope at the end of the tunnel. It's like you can turn it around. It's like, so it's inspiration that you're bringing. And as a black man, that's dope to see. You're positive, you're respecting yourself. Even I just seen a photo shoot where you had the angel wings. It was a theme.
Yeah, I just did a photo shoot. Yep.
Stuff like that. So it's like, you're definitely creative and you're doing it. But everything, your quality, you're very detailed. Everything looks professional. And it's like, that's a motivation in itself. So it's like, to have you up here to drop free game on people out here, to share your knowledge and just even, come up here and bless us with your presence in the story is dope. You know what I mean? I salute you. I definitely support the show that you have on YouTube. Is it a certain day that they can check in or just subscribe and they get the notifications?
Yeah, just subscribe. They'll get notifications because everything is still. I'm getting a roster of people that I'm going to be interviewing, so it's kind of gonna be like what you're doing. So I want to be able to remotely interview people just in case someone's not in town. So I'm open to doing both. I will be doing remote interviews and I'll be doing in-person interviews like the Tony Watts one that you've seen. So yeah, just stay subscribed. If you're subscribed, you'll get a notification, and I always post what's going to happen next on my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Facebook. So
yeah,
you'll be able to soon that way.
Yeah, I definitely subscribed.
Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it, and even you giving me a platform to tell my story. Wow. I'm proud. I'm very happy for you as a young man to be, making your accomplishments as well.
Wow, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Down the road, would you ever come back up here and give us an update on how everything going on? Maybe 6 months from now.
Absolutely.
Like I got 5 more properties since the last time.
What God has in store for me, and my true belief, and I believe in affirming things first. I believe this next year is going to be so crazy. I believe I'm going to touch out and reach out to those people that inspire me, and they go come aboard and allow me, the platform to interview them and take the time out and to just, pay that time back forward. That's just, that's just Chicago hospitality. So I kind of believe that's going to work out in my favor. And, you guys stay tuned so you can know who, the people I grew up rap wise, the people music wise, the authors that inspire me. Now I get a chance to actually have them in a seat and ask them questions.
That's dope right there. That's real right there. You got any shout outs before we go? Anybody want to shout out?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to shout out to my mother, Robin, my dad, Rudy, my son Kobe, and my son Porter, my brother and sister Robbie and Tracy, grandma, the whole family. You know, everybody that support me. I see King Dean on here. You know, commenting. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all my supporters. You know, Nicole. I see she was on here. So everybody that's tuning in and, you know, go tune in later, just thank you for the continued support. And I promise you, I will not disappoint. I got some amazing content that's going to be coming, you know, coming forward.
That's the thing. I'm looking forward to it. And again, I want to thank you for coming up here. We want to spotlight you for a job well done, Black excellence, Black entrepreneurship. That's dope, yo. So we salute you. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in and watched the live, or if you watched the playback for this interview right here. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And again, we thank y'all as you're going into this week. We want y'all to stay blessed. We love y'all. Yo, you the celebrity. It's your day. So I'm gonna let you close us out, and then we up out of here.
All right, love everybody and blessings. Thank you, God, for letting me see 40 years of life and still don't even look like what I've been through. So thank the man above for that. And you know, everybody stay safe and be blessed.
Yeah. And happy birthday again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.